What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So here we're looking at A24's newest movie, Everything Everywhere All at Once. This movie's been getting some crazy good reviews. It's already in IMDb's top 10 movies of all time, and on Letterboxd it has an average rating of 4.6. To put that into perspective, the only movie that I personally have seen that has a 4.6 is Parasite. Even The Godfather has an average rating of 4.5. Now, this movie is a newer movie, so it's going to take some time for that rating to really balance itself out. But the fact that it's already so high and already on IMDb's top 10 of all time, that adds a lot of hype. I went into this movie with very high expectations. Even before knowing this, I saw a bunch of other reviews where people were, glorifying this movie, saying it was like one of the best movies they've ever seen, life-changing. And I have to say, I walked out of the theater and I was blown away. It really met those expectations for me. So if you guys enjoyed this review, please make sure to like it. Please make sure to subscribe if you are new. But this would be my quick spoiler-free review on Everything Everywhere All at Once. So I do think the best way to go into this movie is to go into it completely blind, but a quick synopsis of this movie is that a Chinese immigrant is called upon to save multiple universes as there is some sort of evil spreading throughout the multiverse. So she has to go and save the whole multiverse. And so that is a very vague synopsis for this movie. There's a ton packed into this movie. But let me just tell you about my experience with the film as I was watching it. One thing that I will say is that it probably is the wackiest movie I've ever seen. Because as we go through these different universes, they're really wacky. In one universe, she's just a rock. In another one, she's a piñata. There's one where their fingers are hot dog fingers. It has some really, really crazy aspects to this movie. And that's why it's not going to be for everyone. Because it is goofy, it is wacky, it is silly. Some people may just chalk it up as dumb. But if you just watch the whole thing through and you don't just give up on it at the halfway mark, you'll see that there's a lot more to the movie than just the silly and goofiness to it. You'll laugh at the silly and goofiness of it, but then they'll also give you some really sad, emotional, powerful moments sprinkled in there, especially towards the end. And I love crazy movies with crazy concepts, but even me at the halfway mark, I literally thought to myself, I said, this may be too silly for me. This may be too goofy. It may be too out there. It may not be as serious as I want it to. And that's what I thought at the halfway mark. But at some point, once you figure out who the villain is, what that villain's motive is, why this main character was chosen to save the whole universe, it all sort of falls into place and it becomes something much more. One thing that I will say, from the get-go on a technical level, it hits a lot of the marks. The acting from the main actress was really great. She has to play, a couple of different types of characters in this as she goes through multiverses. I think she plays them beautifully. At the end, she has so much emotion to her character, as so many different themes are coming at her. She has to deal with themes of parenting, not only for her own daughter, but for her father and how her father views her, on a romantic level with her husband, who they're going through some hard times. And she has to deal with all that, plus, saving the multiverse and everything that comes with that. So, really strong performance. I will say the editing was really great. Some really great editing. The lighting, cinematography, all of that I noticed in the first half, and I did think it was a pretty great movie, even just in the first half. Even though I did think it was wacky, I didn't really know where the story was going. On a technical level, I did appreciate the movie for what it was. But like I said, once you figure out the villain and the motive, everything just sort of makes sense, and it brings you on this roller coaster of emotions where, there's a lot of action scenes with some really great choreography. I have to say, the fight choreography was impressive as well and super creative. How this ordinary woman is able to learn these new skills and is able to fight these other people, it's done in a very creative way. And I don't want to spoil anything because I think, all these crazy creative concepts that they throw at you during the movie, it just adds to the absurdity of it all and makes for a lot more fun experience. And so the whole movie was just a ton of fun, really silly and goofy, but creative. And then, my favorite thing about this movie is that the themes that they play with, like I said, the parenting stuff, the romance stuff, but also deal with themes of our place in the universe and us as humans, where we fit in the cosmos. And I love having those type of conversations. I'm someone who loves discussing humans in the universe, your place in the world, and does nothing matter? Because in the grand scheme of things, nothing really does matter as far as we know on a scientific level. And this movie literally deals with that. It deals with how we're supposed to live on a day-to-day basis, knowing that maybe everything is sort of bullshit. And that's heavy stuff. That's a heavy theme to play around with. And this film does it so beautifully because it's silliness and goofiness and then all of a sudden you get hit with these hard themes, but they blend together so well that you could be laughing at one moment and then just be tearing up at the next moment. And that's literally what happened to me. I probably teared up maybe around like 4 or 5 times towards the end. It just kept coming and coming. And even when I thought that the emotional parts were over at the end, another plot point that I might have sort of forgot about would just come out of nowhere, and it would wrap it up nicely. So I have to say, this movie, it did meet my expectations. I do come out of the movie actually having a little bit of a different outlook on life. It was more of like a reminder, and sometimes you do need those reminders as we get stuck in this cycle of routine, either if it's work or school. We get up, we do the same stuff, we deal with maybe taxes. The whole movie deals with like Jamie Lee Curtis plays like an IRS agent and sort of going after the family. So it's sort of like how they're in the routine of, they have to do their taxes every year and they have to do like parties, and it's like the same thing over and over again. It's like Groundhog Day. So you do have to get reminded of like how big the universe is, how small we are, but also in a way that is comforting, and it sort of makes stuff make sense. Like the movie, I don't want to spoil it because the message at the end is super strong. And I do think it's something that everyone should see. So my rating for this movie, I'm giving it a perfect score. I'm giving it a 5 out of 5. It was the craziest movie I've probably ever seen. There were some scenes that were just totally absurd and just so weird and wacky, but like interesting, and it all fit into the plot point like really well. So I really commend this movie for making something as goofy as this, but making it on a technical level, making it look that good, but then also having it resonate with me on a deep level. And I really need this movie. At this time in my life, I thought it was the perfect time to be watching this. And it was just a really great time. So I totally recommend this movie if you guys haven't checked it out. If you've already seen it, let me know down below what you guys thought of it. I think it will probably lose a lot of people from the goofiness of it. But like I said, if you can accept the goofiness of it, sort of reminding me of Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. You know how you have to sort of just accept the world that you're watching. Scott Pilgrim, it's a comic book movie. All of a sudden, like a boss level will come out of nowhere. You think, Scott Pilgrim's fighting a boss guy. You have to sort of have that same sort of mindset watching this movie. Like, stuff is just going to happen out of nowhere. The villain's going to come out of nowhere. All of a sudden, we're fighting, and we don't really know what's going on, but, we're just having a lot of fun. But then at some point, it all will start to click and make sense, and then the movie will just make you cry at the end and make you just appreciate life. And it was just such a great, fun, heartwarming experience in the theater. I'm really happy I saw this in theaters. I can't wait to watch it at home when it comes out in 4K. I think in June. So if you don't plan on seeing it in theaters, wait till June when it comes out on Blu-ray or watch it on digital, whatever you like. But that's pretty much it. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please make sure to like it. Please make sure to subscribe if you are new. But I will see you on the next video. Have a great rest of the day.